there is no 50-50 balance when it comes to this work-life balance. There's no work-life balance. Everything is encompassing. You have actually 3 different areas of your life. And every single day, it's a conscious choice of how much you're going to put into each one of those. So there's no 50-50 unless you kick one out.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Tech Your Business podcast. Today, we have another interview episode, and as usual, we have a guest. No, this time we don't have a guest. We have 2 guests on the show. Our guests on the show today are Mitchell Fox, the CEO, and Travis Fox, the chairman and founder of Ultimate Business Quest. And they are the minds behind Business Empire, a game, a mobile app which delivers business basics and practical coaching through gamification. So their mission is to provide budding entrepreneurs with the tools and assets to level up their business and life while using proven gamification tactics. So welcome to the show, Travis and Mitchell.
Thanks, Peter. Thanks for being here.
All right. So this is the first time we're talking about something like this on the show. That's one. And this is the first time I'm having an interview with 2 people. So it's 2 firsts we have today. 2 firsts. So can you share the story of your business journeys before you went on to found Ultimate Business Quest? And what key lessons did you learn?
Oh, goodness.
How long is the show?
You can take all day.
We'll give you the short version.
It was very interesting because both Travis and I had businesses before we started Ultimate Business Quest. So we've always been entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial spirits. And we actually met on a corporate turnaround because that was one of the things we did was consult companies and company turnarounds. And with our own companies, we had a, at the time, marketing agency and also an online academy. And it was very difficult to scale it, but also it was a higher price point. So a lot of people could not afford it, but we really wanted to give all of those tools and knowledge to the world, not just this small little ecosystem that could afford it. So Travis came to me one day of, how do we scale How do we scale this? And we stopped and we're like, what's the fundamental thing that everybody is currently needing right now? Is everybody's looking for a side hustle, or everybody's looking to either shift their, employment to an entrepreneurial journey and start a business, or they're looking to get past that ceiling that they keep hitting. So then we created Ultimate Business Quest by literally drawing this map on the ground on a big sticky note of what does an entrepreneur go through, whether that be the daily checklist, the wizard things that you forget about. You're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't set that up when I first was starting my business. Or the fears, the excuses, every small little thing you could think of what an entrepreneur goes through, we put on this map. And finally, just bringing it to life in an app where everybody all over the world can access it has been a really cool experience of, from the conception to actual reality.
That's interesting. So basically, the Ultimate Business Quest app, it simulates the entrepreneurial journey for a typical entrepreneur.
Oh, no, it doesn't simulate it. It is it. So at the risk of sounding academic, because I loathe that terminology because it sounds really cool, but very little sense often.
Okay.
So the actual thing behind it is called reverse hypnotic thematic learning through synthesiastic movement. That's a really fancy way, Peter, of saying, hey, kids.
All the gears in my brain.
Of the things that we sound really cool, but no idea what the heck we just said. So for those of you listening, what we're really saying is we've taken all of the data, the better part of a half a century. This is my 32nd year in my career. And with our 2 other founding partners, between the 4 of us, you have collectively almost 200 years of actual experience with the rest of the team as well. And so we looked at the entire journey and said, well, wait a minute. Everybody's done leadership training. They've done management training. They've done sales training. They've done marketing and lander training and blah, 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 blah. Here's the problem. You become addicted to this thing called the search. I'm online. I'm searching for the next guru, the next influencer, the next business person who says, well, I did this and you can be like me. Our response is, why would you want to be anybody but you? The only way to figure that out is what is your passion, your purpose, your mission, your vision to leave a legacy before this life ends. The fastest way we've learned that people learn is through a thematic called fun. Now, I know for many of you out there listening, you're going, business can't be fun. I'm like, precisely. You're exactly who we're talking to, because business is designed to be an adventure. And instead, we're programmed from our childhood, maybe high school or university, if we decided, or the School of Hard Knocks, one of my favorite ones. I've got a PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. I think anybody listening probably does. And that challenge becomes, you never really get to live the dream that you want. And here's a proof you can ask yourself, for those of you listening. Many of us, when we were 14 or 15, and Peter, even ask yourself as we're going through this, what did you want to be when you were at that age, or 14 or 15 or 16? And then look at what you're actually doing. If you're like most, some huge high percentage, and I'll speculate a number, some 85% or more aren't even close to what they wanted to be. They are doing what they have to do, and I use that language very specifically, to make ends meet. Whether it's they had a child, they got into a relationship, they needed to become the head of the family, or they needed to work to help the parents or siblings or whatever it was, or they just felt like university was a waste of time and they wanted to get into the workforce. There's no judgment in it. The reality check is there's no blueprint to help us go on the entrepreneurial journey. And that was our frustration too, working with companies who are going, well, you should know this. This is a basic concept. But that's because we know it doesn't mean everyone knows it. And that's when we got really upset and said, time out. Isn't that what the whole educational system's supposed to be? No matter where you are on the planet, it's supposed to teach you how to build your castle, how to claim your throne, how to build the dream that you want to do and make it fun. Because again, at the risk of sounding really deep at the early part of the interview, but let's set the tone. Listen up, kids. We all know how the journey ends for everybody. The same, 6 feet under. The question is, did we actually really live the dream we wanted? And for most, we found over the last, really 20 years, and putting this out on the streets and working with companies, they weren't. And that was the travesty. And when we looked at origin, it was the educational system, and this is a global comment. And then secondarily, we had to go out and get addicted to this search and hope to God we found the right mentor, we got the right product, we got the right thing, so that we could really get the money to go do what we really wanted to do. Well, what happens if you don't? Well, if you're like most, it becomes the travesty of the journey. They never get to experience it. And for us who have stood on the stages, who have done those experiences, who did the high ticket items, we said, time out. You know what creates it is creativity, curiosity, hunger, the drive, the fire in your belly, even the confusion of, I know I want to do something, but I don't know what the heck it is. What if you did it in a way that was fun? And everything in the app is an adventure that literally translates into your quote unquote real world, from everything from your business plan to your MVP to your USP to what is my company culture, how to create your company culture by asking 2 questions to any person you meet on the planet and know exactly how they show up and where they can fit or not fit in your company. That alone is worth going on it. But here's the better part. We said, what if we gave it away so that everybody had the chance to go on their ultimate business quest? They chose the journey. That's what makes it fun. So everybody can take the quest through the app completely differently. Some people want to go through it as quick as possible. Some people want to take their time. Some people want to go find all the hidden treasures that are in the app. And believe me, there are many in there. And people are like, I got to get it done. I'm like, you're the people that are missing the adventure. So there's all these components that were really put in from what Michelle brought and the entire team was, hey, we can take the technology now so that everybody can have it. It's no longer just in this country or that country. Everybody gets a shot at it, no matter where you are on the planet. The barrier to entry is saying yes. So if you're not willing to say yes, well, then, get it. We're probably not right for you. But that way you can actually go and play your ultimate quest. And that's how this whole thing really came together.
Yeah, that's really, really, really true, because business at the end of the day has been trial and error. I've been there for almost 10 or 12. I can't even remember anymore. Yes.
Right? Whoops, that didn't work. And there goes another. Oh, well, on to the next one. Well, and that brings up an interesting point, Peter. That brings up an interesting point. If we look at the social media boom of the last decade, we'll just round it and make a simple number. People have been thought processed into transactional behavior. I got to go get a lander up. I got to find a quick product, make a couple of bucks, and get out. Well, here's the problem. Everybody's doing that. Nobody's selling squat. No. It's over. You just spend money, and the only people that are making money are the platforms or the advertising agencies. companies or the production companies. What Ultimate Business Quest actually really gets you down to is building your brand. And I don't mean your personal brand, because I've heard that term so many times I want to just jump off a bridge. I'm like, not everybody has a personal brand. Don't flatter yourself, right? It takes a team. Nobody's self-made. All that crap is old stuff, old school, that was designed before we had global communication in an instant. No different than this interview right now, being in completely different hemispheres of the world, yet talking as though we're right down the street. We never had that before in human history. So our ability to convey information and move into a global marketplace has changed so quickly and so rapidly that people forgot building a brand and building something of merit, something that you can exit if you want it, or it has your monthly recurring revenue while growing your valuation and continue to open your opportunities, is really how you create generational wealth. It's not going out and buying one product and selling the next pet rock. That's called luck. And yes, sometimes it's lucky, and that's cool. But let's be honest, they don't build Vegas because you won. Why would you approach business the exact same way?
Yeah.
Makes no sense. So that's what the Ultimate Business Quest does. And it makes it fun because you're playing with questers all over the world.
Yep. And connecting with them. Yeah, there is a business matchmaking area where you can truly connect with other business owners and match with them, direct message with them. But it's not based off of, hey, here's my photo, here are all my credentials. No, it's based off of your avatar and what your personality is. And then what you are willing to give as a business and what you are looking for as a business. So then we can stop this judgmental, I have so many likes, I have so many follows, which has absolutely no relevance for business in any way, shape, or form. Unless you're going to look for an influencer that has that kind of reach to push out your product, that's different. But it does not mean that person's a good business person if they have X amount of followers.
No, just because I jump off a bridge and I ride a scooter or I do crazy things on a motorcycle doesn't mean you're a good business person. It just means you're a daredevil. And that's okay.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But it's probably a short career, right? Because eventually you're gonna blow up. So when you start looking at these concepts, you're like, wait a minute. We can now use technology to grow a brand exponentially fast. That's true. But we got to get out of this transactional thinking. We got to get back into building businesses and connections, because that's how we build monthly recurring revenue. That's how you grow your valuation. And either you take an exit or someone comes in and does a significant acquisition. And that's how you create the three levels of difference between rich and wealth, right? We want to teach people to be wealthy, whatever that means for them. That doesn't mean everybody's going to be a trillionaire or a billionaire. But wealthy in a lot of parts of the world. Imagine if people were just making $100,000 a year. What does that do for other parts of the world? Having traveled the world 3 times myself and seen it with my own eyes, $100,000 is massive to most of the rest of the world, where I think certain countries have gotten a little too grandiose in believing, well, this is the way it is around the world. I'm like, no, it's not. You clearly have never been anywhere. You have no idea what you're talking about. Or you've been to
the tourist areas around the world and you haven't been in the culture.
You got to get down with the people and see what's really going on. And that's what really became the impetus for our union, and also all of the company and for all of the people in the company, because we're a global company as well. We have people all over the world that are part of the quest on the inside. So for us, it was like, hey, wait a minute. We live in a global society. Let's make it fun and let everybody have a shot at it. Because if you don't, then guess what's going to happen? We're going to continue to have the separation between the haves and the haves not. And if you just look at history, that does not breed anything but contempt and conflict. And right now, we've had enough of that crap over the last many, many years. I think we all agree on that. It's time for communication, connection, collaboration. And this app allows everybody to do it in a fun way.
The more we talk, the more interested I am in the app.
Well, get out your phone and download it. Stop waiting. Let's go, right? Let's do it right here. Let's show your viewers that you're a part of the quest too. Let's go.
Definitely, I would. So for an entrepreneur at any stage of business, beginner or probably a few years in, let's say they download your app, they log in and all that. What's the journey they go through and how does it relate to their real life?
That is a beautiful question. So actually, there's a few different journeys you can take. One is going on your ultimate business quest. That's actually playing the game of entrepreneurship, where you can learn and also grow businesses simultaneously. So, but that is how you actually learn what personality are you showing up as right now. And that's and it's not just one thing. So we do it with wizard, warrior, bard, jester. It's a very fun way of personality profiling. but you're not just one. You're each one of them. It's just which kind of percentage. So that's one path you can take. Another path you can take is going to Quest University, where it has every single type of video for your business, personal, and relationship. And you can go through and listen to as many videos as you possibly want. However, in order to get coins, you do need to play the game. So they kind of go hand in hand. You still can go to Quest University and listen to everything you want if that's how you like to learn. Another area is the business matchmaking, and that's going straight into, okay, I want to match with other businesses. I want to look at the business scroll of advertising of all the videos that other businesses are, posting up. How can I help them? Or do I want to get involved? Do I want to put my own marketing up there? So there is a place for businesses to market right within the app. So there's a lot of fun, different areas you can go. You can go to our business podcast, and it's only inside the app. So that's live events. Yep, the live events are inside the realm, is what we call. And then every single month, we are releasing a brand new quest. So there's always going to be something new and fun and exciting.
So let's play this game, Peter. I want you to notice the difference in our communication style between Michelle and I. Inside the game, you heard her mention what's called the 4 archetypes. Now, in our system, which is developed over a 22-year experience, there's actually 16 different archetypes within the system. But we start you off with the basic 4, and that's how you learn to do business matchmaking. It's how we learn to build culture, how we learn our leadership style, we learn who's in the right spot, and most importantly, we make finger pointing fun. I know that's going to sound oxymoronic. It's going to sound, what are you talking about, Fox? You can't make finger pointing fun. That's judgmental, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. It's exactly fun because we get to laugh at ourselves and start to learn that the things that we've criticized each other and ourselves for are actually our superpowers and our strengths. Here's an example. If I look at the two of you, both of you would qualify as wizards. What does a wizard mean? Well, let me put it in this way. It's not something from Harry Potter or from Lord of the Rings. Oh, it's not what wizard. I guess it could be in the game.
Yeah, right.
If you dress your avatar that way, I guess it could be. And you can do that in the app as well. Right. But the point of a wizard is wizards are the geniuses of our culture. They're the ones that think crap up that comes up like, wow, that was amazing. Right. Elon Musk, super wizard. Right. Bill Gates, a super wizard. What does that mean? No, it doesn't mean nerd, geek, or dork, although I'm one of those myself. What it means is the geniusness is they can find the solution to the problem. However, just like everything, there's a balance in life. The wizards also can find the flaw with every single plan you bring up. And they'll be like, well, no, you can't do it this way because that doesn't make sense. And this doesn't do that. And everybody else in the room is like, ah!
Yeah, you naysayer. I can't believe you're so negative.
Right. And they get shunned for the very thing that is the genius. Both of you are wizards. I can tell by watching you guys. So for example, you go in, the first thing you do inside to answer your question, you go into the app, you find out how you show up. Who are you? Because most people, when they go, well, I'm a warrior because I'm a badass and I've been watching Hollywood films and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And I'm like, that's not a warrior, guys. That's not what warrior means. Warrior is about heart. Warrior is about passion. Warrior is about being that thing for the realm. You're the one that gets things done. You're the one people turn to. The wizard's not that person. The wizard will think up what needs to be done, and then you pass it off to the warrior who will get it done. So we start to learn how to team build. That's the first thing you're going to do. But what makes the app so much fun, it's not linear, Peter. And that's what drove us nuts in education. Every one of us listening to this podcast right now has gone through a linear thrust education. We went to elementary school, went to middle school, went to high school, university, maybe postgraduate, if you took that path. And then after spending better part of a quarter of your life supposed to be educated, you go into the workforce and now you don't have any experience, but you're in debt up to your eyeballs. Great business model. Woo-hoo. Way to think about that, boys. We call that indentured servitude. Been around a long time. The model needs to go away. People finally figured it out. So what we said is, wait a minute. If you think about it, when did you have the most fun? When you were a child. When you were playing. That's when you learn. That's what sports taught us, which is why sports is so attractive. It's an immersive experience that makes it fun, and we learn. Mm-hmm. Yes, sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's frustrating. Yes, we get in confrontation with our teammates, but at the end of the day, it galvanizes a team to go to a common goal. Isn't that what business really is? So what if you made it fun? So when you go on every one of the quests, and Michelle's correct, over the next 24 months for all of you questing, we release a quest every month. So it's a continuing, ongoing, evolving story told in a story form, open map Rome. You got to run around and find it. You got to figure some of this stuff out. We're not going to walk you to it because if we did, it's the same crap you've already learned. This is about learning how to create solutions in a fun way and finding people to go on the quest with you while actually creating your business for real revenue and understanding how to create your budgets before you ever start your business. You can practice inside the quest with other questers around the world and create real business models, but you're doing it in a story form. Why? Story form is the most powerful way to learn in human history. We've been doing it since hieroglyphics. The difference is most of us, when we went through education over the last 70 years, and I'll kind of bulk plate that, we went through a linear form. Linear form learning sucks. There's no other word for it. We forget 90% of the stuff we learn. When we're learning in fun, it's direct absorption to the subconscious, and now we transform ourselves. And transformation is what we need in order to become that which we want to be. You're not born a millionaire unless you're a trust fund kid. But even then, you have to learn how to manage that money from what your parents provided to you. If not, for the rest of the known humanity, selves included, we've got to be able to become. And we've always had this problem, Peter, and I think you'll agree, and all of the listeners as well. We've always kept self and personal development and business in two very separate silos.
Yeah.
Like they're separate.
Which has been the problem of work-life balance. And that's been the number one topic of how do I balance this work-life balance? And we have a completely different methodology in here, but 100% is that they're not separate.
Yeah, how can they be? If you're the entrepreneur, you're the CEO, the CFO, the CMO, you're the wantrepreneur, you're a solopreneur. You have no idea-preneur, want to figure out what you are preneur, just a preneur or you're a pilopreneur. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you start and that you start playing the game. The challenge is many of us, and I'm talking about the bulk plate, go out there and they start spending money with hey, I'm going to go to this big convention. I'm going to spend all of this money. I'm going to buy this lander because that's what I was supposed to do. And I'm going to put my product out there because I'm supposed to do ad spend. I'm supposed to get this ROAS and all these terms that 99% of education on the planet never teaches you. You have to learn, like you said, Peter, trial and error. Well, guess what? Unless you're the bank of error, your trial is going to cost you a boatload of money and you're going to miss the dream. And then you can give up because you're finally going to go, screw it. This is too hard. This isn't fun. This sucks. And then two things happen for sure. One, you never get to really realize the quest of your own life and to leave a legacy for your family, because that's what everybody really wants. Let's cut the crap. Let's get right to it. And number two, you rob the world of your creativity because you never know who comes up with the next great idea. And all we need to do is put people together and watch them quest, and then they will naturally coagulate, communicate, connect, collaborate, and they'll create because now the finger pointing is fun. Hey, Peter, we need a wizard in our company. I need someone to come and tell me why this is the dumbest idea and find the frickin' flaw and create the solution and celebrate that as an example. We need the wizards. We need to stop putting those things that are misfits that we've been called as kids, the dorks, the geeks, the nerds, the athletes, all these things we categorize ourselves and go, well, we're all of them. And isn't the real quest of our personal development side to develop all aspects of our personality so that we can really rule our lives and become the king and queen of our own lives? Isn't that the real quest?
True. That's really true. All right, so you have thousands of users on the game, and like you said, you've watched all of them quest, and they've gone through the matchmaking and everything. When you look at the entrepreneurs and the users of the Ultimate Business Quest, what are the main struggles or pain points you've seen them encounter that the app helps them address?
Oh, that's easy. Can I go first?
Go ahead.
You didn't download the app. Simple. People go, well, I'll download it later. Just like when I said to you a moment ago, I said, Peter, you actually download it. Like, oh, okay, I'll definitely do it. And no disrespect, you forget. Because we're bombarded with so much stuff today. We're getting nailed every second from different platforms and texts and emails and notification alerts and buzzes. And our brain gets an overload, which is where the BPR, business personal relationship, which the app tracks for you so you can really see where you're spending your time. So the first is downloading the app. Second?
Yeah, actually, the forgetfulness is the number one. Is we have so much information that continuously hits us where we're like, oh my gosh, where did I put that? Where did I find that? I can't remember that software. I don't recall that. So what we did is The reason for the app is a full entrepreneurial ecosystem. So in the business resources, you can get every single business template you are possibly even fathoming and download it for your own business. So that's marketing plan, business plan, how to track your ROI. So there's a lot of those checklists, the sales format, the sales flow, how to do sales, a sales checklist. So all of that is in the Business Resource Center, along with tips, tricks, and also all the different softwares, every software that we've used, why we've used it. Why do we continue to use certain softwares, ones that we've liked and we're not currently using, but they're for other industries. Every single aspect you could possibly think of for your business, we are adding into this ecosystem so that businesses aren't pulling out their hair, searching online for, oh my gosh, I can't remember where I found that. I can't remember where this was. And then there's a really fun feature coming in that every single little pop-up of text or business tip that possibly goes in through the entire app, you can save it. So then you can reference back, and all the videos as well. Because there's always that little tiny information that you're like, oh my gosh, I really need to reference back to that. I need that for later. And then we forget because there's so much distraction going on in the world today for, all these different devices we have, the messages that are popping up, that the forgetfulness is the number one most difficult aspect of an entrepreneur, where we can forget. There's so many things going on. So having one spot, and especially inside the app, where you can find everything that you're looking for your business, to start it, to ramp it up, or even to expand it.
Interesting. So you talked about having software, a list of software you use and everything in the app. So since we're on the Tech Your Business show, can you just expand on that? What software do you find really useful in managing your business?
I love project management systems. So anywhere from ClickUp to like a Salesforce or Trello for those companies that are barely first starting out and do not have the capital to invest in those bigger softwares. Trello is absolutely perfect because then it can organize your day or projects. Number one that I possibly love is that, along with QuickBooks. I really enjoy how QuickBooks has evolved to keep your finances in order, because the majority of businesses, when we come in and do cleanup or setup, they never track their projects or how long things take, and they definitely do not have their accounting up to date. Those are the two main problems I've always seen in companies when we're coming in and cleaning them up, because they've gotten so past the point of almost no return where they're desperate and they're like, please help me. And those are the two fundamental problems we see with every single business when they start up. They do not set up their accounting correctly, or even set it up at all, or they forget about it, let it linger, let it falter, or they don't track who's doing what and what are those timelines.
And I think the third one, Peter, to answer your point, and if you listen to the communication style, right? Both accurate, both are detailed, both are very, very different points of view. Wizard all the way. I'm more warrior bard, right? I like to get things done, and if it's not passion, I'm generally not interested. I'll wander off and go find shiny object syndrome, which nobody listening ever has had. I'm the only one. So my point being is, the other thing is, people go in and say, that's too easy. That's the number one thing I've watched, because we've been so conditioned that learning has to be hard. It has a lot of labor in it.
Boring.
You got to grind it out. All of those things are about as appealing as jumping off a bridge with a rock tied to your feet. It makes no freaking sense. So we have to unlearn the concept of learning, and remember that learning does not look linear. In fact, it's nonlinear, which is what made gaming and the gaming industry such a multi-billion-dollar business, is because we want to learn through immersion. Immersional experiences is how we learn. How do I know? When you think about your memories, you think about parties, you think about weddings, you think about going to concerts, you think about going to experiences. And that's the stories we tell when we talk to other people, even in business.
And the stories we tell ourselves of, hey, we feel guilty about playing games. Yeah. And it's like, I can't download this because it's a game and it's too much fun.
Right.
Oh my gosh, we're not going to learn.
Right. I'm old and I'm serious and I've got to be an entrepreneur. I'm the CEO. And I'm like, well, then you're old and maybe you do need to learn. You're exactly who we're talking to.
Right.
I'm going, hey, kids.
And you're never too old.
You're never too old to learn.
And you're never too young.
And it's always the time now. And that's the thing is people go, well, it can't be that simple. And I'm like, isn't that the first place we need to start? Says who? Says who it can't be that simple. I didn't say it would always be easy. But I did say it would be simple, meaning you can follow the yellow brick road, you can follow the print, and you could start to play the adventure. And let's be candid. Let's broaden this topic out because the app will open you up into concepts like, for example, you never know who you're going to meet. We all know the number one fear is still public speaking or people. Yet, to be a solid entrepreneur and have a thriving business, you need people, both on your company side and your customer side. So getting involved with people, starting with yourself, makes that adventure exciting. And when you start to see that I never know who I'm going to meet. I meet Peter. He's out halfway across the world. He's created a great podcast. I don't know who you know, but I know how he thinks. So if I talk to the wizard, I can go, hey, wizard, this is what it does. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he goes, dang, I'm interested in the app. And I'm like, great. Now we're going to shift you to Warrior because now I need you to download it. Peter, ... Great. Now we're going to tell you why it's really exciting, Peter. Now I'm going to move you into your bard. And we're constantly communicating to all aspects of people as opposed to, this is my avatar. I'm only going to talk to one person and until I find my avatar. Most people can't find their bloody avatar because they don't know their own. So we ask people to do these impossible tasks and we suck the fun out of life. And before you know it, it's over. So those are the big three things that we've experienced. So all of you listening right now, pull out your phone, Apple, Android, go look up Business Empire, download it, knock the first one out, and we only have 2 left to go. And you already know what those 2 are, and we're off having a good time.
And the fun thing is, to our knowledge, and we could be, to our knowledge up to date, is that we are the first app that actually gives you live things in your hand shipped to your house, whether that be cash incentives, whether that be gift cards. We randomly select people inside the app to help their businesses, whatever that may be, and
show up.
Yeah.
Wow.
So founder funding to fortune. Last year, there were cash incentives for 3 people that actually won different awards because we track in the app. We watch as a company, we watch as a team, and we have a committee that sits and watches and said, hey, you know what? We've been watching Peter's progress in the app. We've been watching how he's in the business matchmaking. We see his company's growing. He's looking to move. And sometimes, we just need someone to believe in us more than we believe in ourselves. And there's a lot of power in that comment. And that's part of what makes the Quest community so much fun is because all of us are questing differently, and yet we all have the same agenda. And it's really simple. Freedom. That's all we want. We all want freedom. I want to be able to travel when I want. I want to know my family's taken care of. My employees and my customers are taken care of. I get to experience the things that I want. We call that freedom. That's the thematic we all work under. So when we know that we all are objecting to the same thing, now instead of going, well, I've got to get mine before Peter gets his. Whatever. Leave that crap behind. Go, hey, Peter, what's your quest? I'm going to quest with you because this is our quest. We're going to quest until this point because at that point, we know that that's you've reached your point, we've reached our point, and then we can reevaluate. And even if we say goodbye, now every person we meet becomes a part of our quest and we become a part of theirs. And you never know who that person or persons are that you may meet. That will be that missing link that you're looking for. And if we never ask because we're afraid, what if you could walk up to anybody in the world, Peter, and literally ask them one question, and immediately you'll know warrior, wizard, bard, or jester. You know exactly how to flip that conversation. I'm not talking about fake it till you make it because I loathe that concept. You can look at our social media, follow us on social media. We're out there and I say the same thing. Don't fake it till you make it because that's a lot of effort. I'm talking about understanding how we show up in personalities and employing all those personalities. That's the only way you can become a king and queen of your own life is to really integrate all parts of yourself and all parts of your team and then go, okay, got it. Now we know what our objective is and let's move. And that makes it fun. So when you look at that from that point of view, it actually shifts radically, not just our educational doctrine and how we approach learning, but also our entrepreneurial journey and make it fun. Because again, we already know the outcome. It's all the same for every single one of us. The question is, what do we get in between?
Yeah, so I think it's a really, really interesting angle you approach learning from. So for entrepreneurs who are running their companies, how do you think they can incorporate elements of this gamification into their real businesses for their employees and all of them?
Number one is definitely the personality profiling for their entire company as a whole, because that in itself is so much fun, where we're constantly poking fun at everybody inside the realm. Like, we're just saying, hey, you're totally being a bartard right now, or you're totally being a whiz-tard right now. And we just make these funny names where it's just really having a good time, and it's not anything negative. For a great example, we had brought these two new individuals on, and they kind of had a concept of the warrior, wizard, bard, jester, but it wasn't fully ingrained, because it does take some time for any new company, and also the unlearning of the prior conditioning of the corporate world, where they went on site, and one of them was like, hey, you're being really, really intense right now. There's so many naysayings right now. We've got to be really gentle. We've got to be really cautious. You've got to throttle yourself back and really, be a lot more calm. And I came in, I was like, time out. Absolutely not. Your superpower is that. We need that for you to be that boots on the ground and tell me every single freaking flaw possible. Where is the shit going to hit the fan? Like, I need to know those things. That is your beautiful, like, whiz-tard in you. Give it all. And then the other one, I'm like, you're the jester. The jester is the one that's, hey, let's everybody be cool, calm, collective. Everything's going to be all right. That's the vibe of the jester. And it's, hey, you're a beautiful in-between and mediator of all of it. But it doesn't mean you squash that other person's superpower, and really have that balance. But then it makes it this fun game within your organization for the culture aspect. But one thing that businesses, they jump right in and they said, okay, I'm going to do the gamification. I'm going to make all these changes. I'm going to do all these things. Time out. Have you even looked at what your company values are? Because how can you change or alter your organization if you don't even know your own values? And, at first I thought, values were, okay, it's not that big of a deal. I can do that later. Or, I have a pretty good idea, so it's okay. Well, that was my ego talking. So why don't you just get your ego out of the way and just take a moment and just say, wow, I don't have my values. I have no idea what the foundation of my company is even set upon. Because if we don't know, how can we hold a standard within our own organization, create that gamification, have that fun, or even know where we're going to navigate this company if we don't know that? Because our four values is trust, loyalty, communication, and fun. So without those, how can you do any other thing? Then the second step is that, hey, company culture. How do you make it fun and a game within your own company? Because if you're not creating a game within your own organization, and the employees are the people that are working with you, not for you, with you, if you don't create a game within that, within your own ecosystem, then your customers are never going to feel that game, or it's going to be a forced game. It won't feel authentic. It won't feel real, because it's not real within your own organization, and it's just a bunch of BS. So that's where I would say start.
Interesting. So for Mitchell, this question, I was listening to a couple of podcasts earlier in the day, and I heard one where you talked about where you bought your dad's company, 2x it, and also sold it. So what did you do right to turn the company around? I think our listeners would love to know that.
Oh, absolutely. My father's company was your traditional, hey, I write everything down on a piece of paper and I memorize it. And then eventually I'll possibly put it into accounting that I don't have. And then the inventory was all off. Everything was done in his head. And absolutely brilliant man. He was a pain in the ass, but he was a total brilliant man, where he could calculate everything in his head. Every possible thing. And his memory was absolutely impeccable. Even at 83, his memory, he remembered every single small detail in the day. Well, you and I both know that there's no way that the rest of the world can remember on that scale. I have that talent from him, which I'm super grateful, but I understand that not everybody does, and that's completely okay and totally normal. It's just not everybody's superpower. So what I did when I first came in is I put a bookkeeper in place instantly. I looked at all the accounting and I saw that, okay, we are off in certain areas, that we're really not taking account for everything that's transpiring. We're not keeping up to date. There's no budget and there's definitely no forecast that, hey, and the difference is between budget and forecasting is budgeting is you are budgeting your day-to-day and your monthly of how much you should spend based off your current knowledge. Forecasting is, what do I want to create? What do I want to, make within X amount of time? And how will my budget fit? My new budget will fit around that said, new KPIs or new revenue coming in. So those things he didn't have. The other part was, okay, I knew he didn't have credit, and I had worked really hard to build up my own credit so that I could help the company with lines of credit, put lines of credit in place so then we could expand really quickly. I did a full rebrand because it was a horrible brand. I mean, it was a terrible name and it didn't make no sense. And yeah, so I did a total rebrand, changed the logo, changed up the showroom so that when people walked in, they were instantly like, wow, and it did not take a lot of money. It was just how you positioned everything. And it didn't look like you walked into a dirty old man shop. Like it was pretty, like it wasn't as, it wasn't extravagant. I didn't have a budget. It was very, very slim. The next piece was how can I motivate or alter the current, like we talked about values. What are the values? What do I want from this company? And I'm not really that interested in construction company. That just wasn't my personal passion. However, I wanted to be able to turn around a company within a short period of time. It was about an 800% increase from the moment I purchased it to the moment I sold it. And all of it was automation. Where is everybody in the current place or the correct place for them? The accounting, and then also the rebrand, the infrastructure, and the showroom. How is it shown? So if you're looking at the website, does the website match when they walk into the actual environment? And those were the first fundamental things that I did of, reforming and reshaping the company. And do I have the right mentors in place? Because I don't know how to buy and sell a company. I've never done it before. It was my very first time doing it. So really picking the brains of business brokers and actually use Transworld, which they're phenomenal, and they really know their stuff. But yeah, so that was my wizard checklist of what I did when I first got in. And it's all a field thing. It's not a cookie cutter, but those are the fundamentals that I always see when we come in, when we go into companies.
So for all you wizards, that's the answer. The other thing, what the hell did she just say? No idea. I'm like,
yeah.
What? But that's the power of the quest. You'll learn what that answer specifically is talking about, the wizard response. What is our sequentials? Like, for example, when she talks about branding, that's where I come in. How do we tell the story? Yeah. What is it about? That's the bards. That's all of you out there who are super passionate, who love to tell stories, but you have to be passionate about it. Or otherwise you end up with the water cooler telling stories about stuff because you're dispassionate, and it reverses itself. And this happens in company cultures all the time, because we're not really telling the story, which goes back to the value system that Michelle was talking about. What are our values? Because our values are the rudder of the boat of our business. It keeps us on point. Hey, does this align with our values? Is this fun? When we do corporate turnarounds or ask, the first thing we look at is the culture. Is this going to be combative? And there's going to be a couple of bumps along the road, but if it's an outright war, then it's not fun. Well, that rudder of trust, loyalty, communication, fun says, well, if it's not fun, we're done. We're going to backpedal out, or we're going to refer you to some of the other organizations that we work with inside the app that might be better suited for that particular style. So this is how you start to learn to communicate. We're all saying the same thing, but we're speaking extraordinarily different personality languages. Mm-hmm. And so when you get to that, now it makes it go, oh, Michelle just gave me the wizard's checklist. Got it. As opposed to, I have no idea what the hell she just said, and I have no idea how to sequence that, and that sounds like an overwhelming amount of stuff, and I got to memorize crap? What are you talking about? I sucked in school at memorizing crap, right? That's because it's not your superpower, and now you learn to rely on your teammates and your culture mates and your company partners, as opposed to, I have to keep my eye out. Business is war. I'm in it for myself. I got to make sure I get all that crap needs to stop. It doesn't work that way. We know that, because every time we have a human tragedy on the planet, human beings innately and instinctively show up to help. Without question, they don't question gender, politics, sexual orientation, identity. All that crap goes out the window, which means that's the core value of who we are as humans. The question is, are we too busy trying to be non-human while we're doing our business? And usually we are, and we forget that we're in a people business. I don't care what business you're in, you are in the people business. And learning people becomes the most interesting quest of how to grow, scale, and exit your business.
Learned a lot from that, from both takes. So,
both sides, yeah, you get to see.
So what emerging or future technologies are you most excited about for businesses globally?
AI technology for sure. I think there's a balance between allowing AI to get too far into our business in terms of, I heard this one article, which I don't agree with in any way, shape, or form, of allowing or going to AI and having them build out your entire business plan. I do not agree with that in any way, shape, or form. It's like when you're in school and you go to the kid next to you and you're like, I'll pay you $5 if you do my homework. It's like, okay, it's the same thing. I think there's a difference between allowing to enhance it and doing it for you are two very different things. Like, I suck at writing. I don't like it. I have no interest in it. I don't do the whole fluffy. I'm like, just do the bullet points. Wizard. I don't need to do this whole huge narrative. That's just not, Wizard. I don't enjoy it. I'm a total wizard when it comes to writing. And I don't care if there's spelling errors. I'm like, you'll get the point. Like, get over it.
So true.
That is 100% my personality when it comes to writing. I think it's a waste of time. I'm like, just call me or do bullets. But for a business plan or even for a presentation, clearly that won't work. So going to like a chat GPT or some sort of AI and putting my bullet points, and I have done this, and I'm not ashamed of it in any way, shape, or form, of putting the bullets and saying, can you please make this sound better and in a actual, paragraph? And it does. And it's still me. However, it's enhancing what I'm currently stating. I think those are very different things of ways how you can enhance your business through AI or the ways that you can have it run your company. Because if you have it do everything for you, you have no idea what your business is. And there's no way you could memorize all of that. There's just no way. It still needs to come from you out, but having it enhance it is a completely different ballgame.
That's very, 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 very true. So when you look at the app usage again, like I said before, what are some lessons or principles that the users of the app have revealed that all business owners should know, regardless of their industry?
Oh, wow. That's a really great question.
I'm enjoying the two of you wizards talk. I'm just going to... For the rest of us watching the show, I'm with you. I'm just going to watch these two wizards talk. I'm like, all right, let's play.
I would say the work-life balance and BPR is a big one, especially right now, and how each one of us has a completely different aspect of that work-life balance. We call it the BPR, business, personal, relationship. And Travis speaks to it. Aaron speaks to it, John speaks to it, I speak to it in totally different frames, and we each come to it in a completely different type of archetype. And really understanding that 50-50 balance when it comes to this work-life balance. There's no work-life balance. Everything is encompassing. You have actually 3 different areas of your life, and that's business, personal, and relationship. And every single day, it's a conscious choice of how much you're going to put into each one of those. So there's no 50-50 unless you kick one out, which is totally, it's 100% you. But even then, it's impossible to do that. It really is, because your relationships, you're on the phone, you're texting, whatever relationship that means for you. And then the personal is anything you're doing personally for you. And then clearly your business. That is one thing that's currently happening in the world right now that really nobody understands how to balance their day-to-day with the amount of freedom that we're having and with the devices and with being able to work from home. I've seen a massive struggle of how do I work from home? How do I integrate now into this? I see the pile of stuff on my bed that I want to clean or I want to, put away, but yet I know that I have so much to do at work. What do I do? How do I balance that? Like, what's the secret sauce here? And the secret sauce is every single day, put a percentage. It's, it's every hour is the best for the typical average individual. Every single hour, what are you going to do for that hour? Whether that be business, whether that be personal, whether that be relationship, and then track it by the end of the day.
It tracks in the app, by the way. You don't have to do it manually for you outlaw the wizards out
It
there.
actually isn't locked yet, so be cautious. We haven't released that yet. So
different communication.
Yes, we haven't released that yet.
The movie. Preview.
Yes,
really simple.
Preview. In season 3. Stay tuned.
More. But wait, we'll double your quest right now.
But that is a big feature that is coming in where it will integrate with your calendar and you can actually track how your ratio is happening on a daily basis, because that's the number one thing we really don't track. But yet we keep on saying that work-life balance is extremely important for us, but we're doing nothing about it.
Well, again, forgive me, wizards. Let me jump in here for the rest of us listening to the show. When we talk about work-life balance, listen to the phraseology. Work, life. How are those separate? Work is a part of your life. Stop separating them as though they're separate. That's impossible. It doesn't make sense. It is what causes, for the rest of us, the warriors, the bards, and the jesters, frustration, because we keep trying to separate our lives into these little silos, into these buckets under time management, and I've got to know my balance. First of all, balance does not mean equality. Balance means you are centered in your own life, that you are comfortable with how much time you spend on your work, how much time you spend on your personal, how do you build your body, how do you take care of it, how do you maintain your own health, and then your relationships, plural, right? Not just your primary, but one with yourself, but with your spouse or your partners, also your friends and family, those things. So equality really becomes about choice. But we were never taught that in school. We were taught you got to balance your life and they've got to be equal, like a seesaw. Well, again, work is a part of life. Saying that life is it's over here and it's separate is what makes 99% of the frustration. So just that little shift of understanding that equality does not mean balance. Equality means you are equal for your own journey, for the king and queen of your own life.
Yeah. I actually believe the same thing, that you can't really balance work and life. You just have to do the best for you. Because like what I do these days, when you were talking about tracker, it made me laugh because I actually have a timetable.
Oh, yes. Very few have that. That's awesome. That's great.
Wizard to the bone.
When the tracker launches, I can dump this and stop writing all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So what's in the future for Ultimate Business Quest?
Oh, you get to do the teaser.
What do I get to?
You get to do the teaser.
Hercules.
Yeah.
Hercules. Just think about this. Imagine going on an adventure. Literally no different than, say, Lord of the Rings or a Harry Potter adventure, where every month the quest continues. So this is not a separate quest of, you just go do this one if you're looking to build your business and marketing, or you're doing this one for sales. They are all sequentially telling a story. It's the story that takes you literally from founder to funding to fortune for real. The difference is each person gets to experience the story in the quest individualistically and company-wise as they choose. So what makes this thing so unique is it's not everybody plays the same game, gets the exact same outcome. So we can go, hey, Peter, when you get to quest 20, this is what you got to do. The secret door is here, and this is the passcode. So you can place right through it, and you get the cheat. Nope. You can't get a cheat on this because it's based on the choices and how the algorithms works is it actually adjusts to you. So you get to choose where you're going to go, how you want to play. And what makes it more fun is that every month this is going to keep growing. So you can go back, like Michelle said, and you can store the parts that you remember because there is a boatload of information that comes through this, a boatload of people you're going to meet. And it has to be a place where we can centrally locate it. And that's the ecosystem in and of itself. But also, too, it's the audience is expanding. We expect to be over 1 million users by the end of this year and over 10 million by the end of next year. And we're already in high six figures now. That means just people just letting it go are going, holy crap, there's a new way to learn. There's a new way to connect. There's a new way to grow my business quickly. And I know I'm talking to business people as opposed to some other platforms that are supposed to be networking, but yet everybody and their mother can help you live your more abundant life from their mother's basement. It's not networking, right? Just because you read a book doesn't mean you should be coaching. What it means is you can work with other people. Thank you, Peter, around the world. And those of you listening, appreciate the comment. No disrespect to other coaches. Well, the whole point of this is, hey, wait a minute. Stop trying to be a coach and be coachable, right? Be coachable and understand that you are, yes, you have a high part of your personality as probably a wizard or a warrior or a bard. Great. But what about the other parts of you? And if you don't want to develop those parts of you, which is totally cool in your quest, then network with other questers who have developed that part of them and make them a part of your team. Now you have a balance in your company culture, your company output, your products, your entire value structure, your MVP, your USP to the world, and how you're presenting. Because you know what, Peter, you and Michelle both are wizards, super wizards intelligent. You both, you guys could solve NASA's problem if I put you two in the room and say, hey, we need to figure out how to get to Jupiter by June of next year. You two will figure it out. But the rest of the team is going to be the one that does it. The warriors are going to get the stuff built. The bards are going to be the ones that go out and say, this is why we're going to Jupiter. This is the advantages of it. This is why you need to invest in this opportunity. The jesters are the ones who are going to keep the rest of the three of us going, hey, kids, remember the outcome's the same for all of us. Let's make sure we stay on our company values. Let's stay on our rudder of the boat of our scenarios.
And also take time off.
And take time off to enjoy it because you'll miss it. It goes by like that fast and you all know it. We all cognitively know it. But we tend to hypnotize ourselves to believe that, well, I've got time. But you don't know that for truth. And that's the truth that we don't want to look at. So part of what makes this so much fun is we're now building teams of people who are in their right mastership, the way they were designed by whatever higher power you believe in or whatever you believe in the concept of the world. That's how they were designed, not who they were told they had to be or conditioned to be or forced into being. They get to be who they really are. And now when people are in that place, it's fun, it's exciting, you make a boatload of money and you have a lot of fun. And guess what? You're not afraid to go, cool, we'll sell that business off and we'll go to the next adventure, whatever that adventure is. Because remember, life is an adventure in and of itself. Shouldn't your business personal relationship be the same? And that's the future of the Ultimate Business Quest. But wait, there's more foreshadowing. Here it comes, kids. Ready? There are some things coming up where you have the opportunity to come quest with us live in 2024. You will come quest with us for real in real time. Imagine being going on an adventure where you're playing in real time with us in the real world with a bunch of other people in the room, and you're going on a whole different adventure at the same time. And
very different. And what if you could win the Ultimate Business Quest and help your company get funded with zero equity, no strings? Here's the money. Go play, build your business, and other people watch you do it. That's what's coming. And we see in the app before you come to the live events where you're currently at.
Absolutely.
So it does play a big part.
Got to play the app. Got to know where you are in order to get there. So it makes it fun. But those are the 4 things that are coming up this year and imparted in 2024.
And also, we absolutely love, so inside under your account profile, we love feedback. What else do you want to learn about? Because if we don't know what has hit the fan in your business, how do we know what to put in the app? Because we're more than open to feedback. Because how can you learn? How can you grow as an individual or as a company if you're not actually listening to the people?
Be coachable.
Yeah, so we've made, and we all make a lot of mistakes in our journey. So this question is for both of you. If you could go back and advise your younger entrepreneur self, what would you say?
Find him sooner. Like, why did I have to go through a few different variations?
I have to agree with that one too. I might default to the same answer. That being the most paramount is, and from the relationship side, and it's really key. I mean, we both have had other partners in the past, obviously, both business and personal. But I think the truth that we all really get to look at, if I were to say to myself, one, yes, find her sooner. But I had to admit to myself what I really wanted sooner. Not what I thought I was supposed to want, because Dr. Fox was supposed to look this way and I had to have the perfect image in the family and I had to look this and I was that, because that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to have all the answers. I don't know all the freaking answers, but I got really damn good questions though. But I don't have all the answers. I never claimed to. And it was trying to fit into this box that we were conditioned to fit into. So one was finding each other, but admitting that's what I really wanted. And I think the second thing was think bigger. Stop being so damn afraid to say, I want to change this, or I want to go after that. I want to help the ecosystem. I want to help the climate, or I want to go climb Kilimanjaro because it sounds cool. Go do it. Think bigger than you could possibly fathom and watch the list of wizard excuses that your brain will give you of all the reasons that you can't. And that's where the app's going to help you, is to get out of that concept of you're thinking too big. Trust me, you're not thinking big enough.
There was the reason why I said that particular answer was because it was so difficult when I was first starting my businesses to have a partner that was a naysayer being an entrepreneur. It was a, hey, you should be a 9 to 5. You're a female. You're a woman. We have kids. You have to be home by 5 p.m. This is what you need to do. And it was really difficult because I had this guilt and shame that came in when I was building my businesses on top of all of the other insecurities of building my business of, oh, well, I am a woman. Maybe I shouldn't be in business. Maybe I should be at home, just being a mom. So that was extraordinarily heavy for me of when I was starting my businesses. And then finally I got to the point where I was really wanting to surround myself with people that actually were hey, this is what you want to experience next. That's freaking amazing. How can we support you? How can we help? That was the environment that I really, truly wish I would have been in from the moment I started my businesses till now, where that makes such a big difference when you have people around you that truly support you, even though they may not, agree with every single move. They still are supportive in where you're going, because at least you're moving forward and you're not, falling back in maybe old patterns and whatnot. So, I did a yes.
Kind of like it.
And that support is so, so important. And all of us have stories of things like that. And for both of you, the chemistry is just so glaring. You complement each other. Just perfect.
We kind of like each other.
Yeah,
just
yeah, just a bit.
At least on the
Yeah, so as we come to the end of this episode, is there anything you'd like to share to us? We would all download the app, we know. So, gentlemen.
Yeah, we don't have that app. Sorry, that's a different app.
When you're playing the game of business and truly playing the game of business and playing inside Business Empire, it's not to give up. There are so many fun things that are coming down the pipeline, and even if it feels like, hey, this is just an app, it's just a game, it's just this. Actually, no, it does help your business. And we do look in the app, especially when you see the leaderboard go live. That's when actual physical things will come to some of the questers that are inside the app, and you will be selected to win certain things. Because yes, the knowledge is so powerful, but yet there's some things that we can do as a company to help all of the other entrepreneurs on their particular journey in the life, real world.
And I would end it with the invitation of every quester, and it sounds something like this. This app and your business isn't about you being, put in the fire and forged in the fire to see if you can take the heat. You've already done that. It's not about being plunged in water and baptized and risen anew. You've already done that as well. And it's not about being hammered and folded and beat up to see if you can grind your way through and get back up and how tough you are. You've already done that as well. Really ask yourself, what is the measure of yourself? Are you willing to cut through your BS, what you think you know, and go and rescue your life, your business, your personal self from mediocrity? That's the invitation of the quest. It is the disease that kills us all, is the comfortability of mediocrity. Good enough is good enough. Bullshit. It's not. There's always more out there, not more from a hunger I need to conquer, more I need to experience with other people, other adventures, things I've always been curious about. The question really is, do you accept the invitation to rescue your life, your business, and yourself from mediocrity? If you do, your answer is yes. Get out your phone, Apple or Android, look up the Business Empire, download the app, and start your quest day. Otherwise, stop coming on the shows, asking for advice, and keep looking for the magical nugget that you're never going to effing get. Download the Quest app, listen to Peter and the show, and let's go.
Because isn't it interesting? Everybody wants magic to solve all their problems, especially their business problems, but yet no one believes in magic. So how can that be?
Exactly.
Mic drop.
I really enjoyed this episode, but
thank you.
Likewise.
Thanks.
I have to come to an end. So how can listeners reach you if they want to learn from you, if they want to hear more from you? Because I'll definitely follow you. I enjoy the way you guys communicate, and I'd love to hear more from that.
Yep. You can go to Instagram or Facebook, Ultimate Business Quest. You can go to ultimatebusinessquest.com or just go straight to Apple or Google Store and download Business Empire.
Okay, so I'm going to put the links to the Instagram and the Apple and the Google Play Store in the show notes once we go live.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Abby. I appreciate that.
All right. So thank you so much for coming on the show today and for sharing with us and for making my afternoon a lot more fun than it was. For the listeners, thank you for listening up to this point. And like you heard, go and download the app. And don't just download it, go through the quests, play and learn and improve your business. So thank you everyone for being on the Tech Your Business show. Until next time, don't forget to keep teching your business. Bye for now.